Hey YouTubers, and welcome back to Tony the Technician's channel. Sorry about the lighting, it's a little weird in here right now. But anyways, to continue on with the wiring of the engine bay. Now, I realize this is a really long process, so I'm not going to show you absolutely everything because nobody wants to see me just put wire loom on wires and stuff like that. But I just want to quickly show you what I'm working on right now, and then when we get back in, because right now I'm just working on small stuff. When we get back into the actual big part of the wiring harness, I'll show you guys a little bit more. But as of right now, I'm working on the headlight wiring, just the aftermarket plug adapters that attach to the original wiring harness and then attach to the headlights. I'm working on those because, as you guys have known, if you've watched some of my previous videos and seen the headlight install and stuff, the wiring was just kind of everywhere. Well, for one, the wiring for the LEDs were really crappy, and then the adapters for the actual headlights, I just had like the wires tucked behind the headlight and it looked really bad. So I put wire loom over top of that. I've put dielectric grease in the connectors and taped those all up, and when I put the wire loom on, I also zip tied the ends. Now, somebody, I can't remember, I'm sorry, I don't remember your name right now, actually gave me a great idea. I couldn't do it with the headlights because there's connectors on each end, but he gave me the idea, because he works on a lot of wiring as well, to use any open line without a connector on the end. You can slide heat shrink over the end of the nylon braided sleeve and actually heat shrink the ends down so it's tight on the wire, which I thought was an absolutely genius idea. That'll look a lot cleaner than zip ties. Granted, I won't be able to use it on every application because of connectors and stuff, but a majority of the things I can, and I'm going to try it out and I'll let you guys know what it looks like. But right now I'll show you what I've done to the passenger side headlight stuff and show you how much better it looks than what it did previously. So thank you guys for watching. Let's get into it. Okay, so one second. As you can already tell, all the wires are hidden minus these wires and the two wires back here, but those are for the LEDs. I haven't soldered them to the wires that I'm going to run yet. I just focused on the actual wiring for the light, and I put dielectric grease in the back of each one so they'll have a good connection for quite a while. I don't have to worry about rust and crap getting in there and messing with the connection, because these are more open to the outside than stuff actually inside the engine bay. Then I wrapped them up and I put the nylon braided on there, and this light right here, it's actually tucked up underneath here, so you can't really see anything. I mean, I still have it out just so I can see it, but you can really tuck it back. So before, I just had a bunch of wires stuffed right in here and it looked really bad, kind of like this one over here. This one's not as bad, but you can see what I mean. It just doesn't look great. So I'm doing as much as possible to get these wires out of here so it looks much cleaner. And then it'll look a lot better once I get these wires done and I can run those. Originally, I had the power wire for the LEDs running up this side, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie the two positives together and actually run it through this area. I'll probably bolt the wire loom along here or something, something really nice. Basically, so it's out of sight, and then it all runs over there and runs with the wiring harness going up this side, just so I don't have to run another wire loom up this side and across the firewall. I want as little as possible to run across the firewall. So that's what I'm doing right now. I just finished up this side, about to work on that one, and then I'll get to soldering the actual LEDs correctly. So yeah, that's what I've done, and I'll update you guys as I go. So we have finished up with the headlights as far as the actual headlight wiring, not the LEDs in the headlights, just the headlight wiring as of right now. But it's much cleaner. Probably gonna tuck these a little bit better, wrap up that wiring that's showing right there. And then that we just have these wires on each headlight. Everything's well hidden, much cleaner looking than it was before. And once again, I used dielectric grease, the electrical tape, and the nylon sleeving to make sure this thing is nice and tied up. So next up is trying to solder these, which is going to be a pain because that is a really short wire in a very tight spot. So we'll see what we can do, and I'll keep you guys updated. So now that we have the headlight wiring basically done except for the LED wires, what I'm going to do now is route out the wires that I need for it, figure out the length, and put it inside the wire loom. So when it comes time to solder them, we'll be good to go. But another thing I want to use or put in is the power distribution block that I built myself for my toggle switches on my center console. And I was originally going to run it up this way and across, but of course you guys know I don't want to do that. So luckily I made it long enough. It's going to run across here and go through the hole probably and come out right up by the firewall. And that's where my power wires for my toggle switches and stuff will plug in at, instead of having to run each individual wire to the battery. Because I also don't want to run all those toggle switches to the fuse box, because that's ridiculous. So I almost forgot about it. I had it in the trunk. Got an inline fuse. It's already wrapped in the new nylon braided stuff. I did this a while ago in one of my previous videos. I don't know if any of you remember it, but I'm looking at it now and it definitely looks like I got a little carried away with the zip ties on it. I went from putting them like every foot to every like 3 inches, or over here they're like an inch apart. I think I'm gonna cut some of these off because that's a little ridiculous. But here's the power distribution block. It has 4 ports up here on the front. Main power goes in the back, and that's what will be mounted up by the firewall. And this obviously connects to the battery. But I have my wire here. This is gonna be used for the LEDs and the headlights. So I'm gonna take them out, run it across the vehicle, figure out the length I need, excuse me, and run it in this, and probably zip tie it, cut some of these off, and zip tie the 2 wiring harnesses together. And then we'll go from there. But it's coming along, just a little time consuming. Okay, so to really get these wires soldered, I had to take the LEDs out. There was no way for me to be able to get down in there and tie this one cable to 2 positives down here that were so far apart. It would have been different if I could have, if these were long enough on each light to tie together, and then I could solder it to the one, but I wouldn't be able to do that. I would have to solder a piece of wire in between this one and the other one, and then solder it to this one. So it's just going to be way too much work in this tight area. So I decided to just take the headlights out. It's going to make it a lot easier. I can solder everything up on the desk, make sure it's going to work out, and we'll get these put back in. So this is what I have rigged up so far. So basically each LED, this is for the driver's side, this is for the passenger side. It's basically going to go like this. I'm going to solder these 2 positives together, and here will be the main line where I will solder in the part that actually goes to the toggle switch. But everything will be soldered, it'll be nice and clean. Put some heat shrink over this. Not sure if I'll really be able to use heat shrink here because the line will be coming off a different direction, but we can try and squeeze it up against this one. I'll probably end up using some liquid tape as well around it, so just to make sure that it's sealed really well. But other than that, that's what I have for now. The grounds I don't really have to worry about. I just need to either find a ground really close to the headlight or extend these a little bit in order to find a ground. But I'm pretty sure I won't have a problem, because down in here where the grounds sit, there's plenty of locations to find a ground. So that shouldn't be as big of a deal. But I figured out what I'm gonna do for the power side of the LEDs. So this will be for the driver's side. But as of right now, I just have the passenger side out, so that's what I'm gonna work on. So as of right now, I have the red wires coming off of the LEDs soldered on, heat shrinked, and then I used a little bit of liquid tape at the end of each heat shrink just to make sure nothing gets in there. because these are a little bit more exposed to the outside than some of the wires inside the engine bay. Now next I'm going to take my main wire and tie it in here, and basically what we're going to do is we're going to split this wire open in the center, and you got to wrap the wire into it and get a good wrap on that, and then we can solder that together, and then we can start focusing on the driver's side. What I've done here is I've tied the main wire into the center, and basically you just split this main, or this junction right here, you split the wire as equal as possible in half, and then you slide your main wire through the center and twist it around and get a nice good wrap on there. And then we just got a good solder on there. And as you can tell, don't forget your heat shrink before you start doing this. And so now I'm just waiting for this to cool a little bit, and then I can put the heat shrink down over that. Then I got another piece of heat shrink over here to slide down over here, and we'll get it sealed up nice and tight, and that'll be it for the passenger side. So I am completely done with the driver's side now. I added some ground wire on so I can find a really good ground. I believe the ones that were right next to the headlight actually just go into plastic, so I'm gonna have to go to the ground. Instead of these over here, I'm gonna run them to the ground right here. And that's it for those. And I already have the wire loom for the power ran here. They both combine here and come out into a wire loom right here, which will go to the toggle switch. Okay, so we've got all the wiring done for the headlights. Came out pretty nice. Nice and clean down there. And basically what we have here is the headlights are just wired into the normal system. The LEDs in these, in the bottom, each one has a power and a ground obviously, and what we did was horseshoe it. The power's horseshoed split to a power wire that runs through, and then the same thing here, a horseshoe that ties into that main wire and run up the side. I decided to do it this way because nobody likes a bunch more wires running across your engine bay. This way everything stays hidden. The only thing that will be seen are the grounds that I still have to hook up for each one. We'll just tie together and find a good ground point on both sides. But other than that, the wires run through here, down through the nose, come back behind the headlight, go through the fender, and they come out right here. And I will have them mounted up in here so you can't really see anything. And then that is where they tie into this fuse block, where this then goes to the toggle switch. But that's basically it. Alright guys, so that's basically it for this video. I didn't want to make it too ridiculously long, because if I would have carried on into the looming of the driver's side wiring, it would have been an even longer video. I'm not trying to make my videos that long anymore, so that'll be its own video. So we got all the wiring done for the headlights. The only thing I have left to do for it is to hook up those small grounds for the LEDs, and that's it. They're done. Then I can focus on the rest of the wiring that I have here. This came in today. This is the connector for my fan relay, which was butchered by somebody, so I'm gonna have to put the new connector on there. But got that in, that'll be in the next video. Everything's done as far as the headlights. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it helped any of you guys out there with these headlights or a similar headlight kit. I think it came out pretty clean. Let me know what you guys think. I'm pretty happy with it. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up. Comment if you have any questions or suggestions, or you just want to say something. And if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. And we're almost to 1,000 subscribers, so we'll do another gift giveaway. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.